Hey everybody, how is it going today? Happy Friday and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to do an update on my CleanSpark position, and then I want to get into the Bitcoin miners. They were very strong today, and I want to show you some of the trades that I made in those. Now, before I get started, as always, everybody, please remember I am not a financial advisor. All of this is just my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Please make all of your own trading decisions. All right, well, I haven't done a CleanSpark video in a little while, but the Bitcoin miners are having a pretty good day so far, so I figured it was time. I think the last time I did a CleanSpark video is when it was making this little bottoming formation here, and I thought that there was a pretty good possibility that this was going to be the bottom, and I was waiting for a breakout. You know, I was talking about before, I was hoping it was going to drop below $10 a share so I could double down, but man, now it looks like I probably should have doubled down in the 11s because this thing has taken off. It's broken to a new pivot high, so that of course is very important for the new uptrend. And if we go to that 15-minute chart and back it out a little bit, we can see what I was looking at on my last video. I was talking about once it broke through this rounded bottom formation, I thought that there was a pretty good possibility that we were going to be entering into a pretty decent uptrend, and that's exactly what we've been into. And my average cost is right around $15 a share, so looks like I am finally in the green on CleanSpark. I got a little excited with this stock, and I started buying it, I think, in the very low 20s, and I've been buying it as it's been dropping ever since. I just think that this stock is very undervalued. I thought it was very undervalued when it was in the low 20s, but man, when this thing got around 10, I probably should have trusted my instinct and just loaded up the boat. You know, I got a pretty decent amount of shares in two different accounts. So I'm sort of happy. Of course, you know, being that it's at 15 right now, of course, I would have loved to have bought more when it was below 12. But just looking at this chart, I mean, this is a very healthy looking uptrend. I mean, we got higher highs, higher lows. There is no sign of a rollover just yet. You know, I don't expect this thing to go all the way up to, you know, 20 bucks in one shot, even though it could. I would expect a little bit of a pullback, and if we get a higher low on a pullback, if we come back to one of these support areas, I probably will end up adding some more to my position because I think if Bitcoin continues to run, which is looking like it might, I think these Bitcoin miners are probably going to catch a serious bid. Now, I've been making some trades in some of these Bitcoin miners in the last few weeks or so, and I made a couple today, and in fact, let's get into that right now. All right, so let's get into that first trade that I made this morning, and this was on Bitfarms, ticker symbol BITF. Now, the Bitcoin miners were strong this morning, so I wanted to focus my attention on these guys and take advantage of that strength. But moving a little closer to this chart, you can see that it already made a high above a recent high and was starting to do a little rounded bottom formation. So I was really liking the way that Bitfarms was setting up, but I did know that there was going to be some resistance right here at that 50-period simple moving average. So I was going to have to take my profits rather quickly because I thought it was probably going to have a hard time getting above that moving average, and it looks like it is. It hasn't gotten above it yet, and I completed this trade a while ago, so it's still fighting with that moving average. But going to that 15-minute chart, let's take a closer look at what I was seeing for this setup. Now, we saw we had this nice rounded bottom formation, had a little bit of the false breakdown, and then it started to rise back up. Well, I was looking at this area right here. I wanted Bitfarms to break out, I'm sorry, right here, around 515, if I can get this thing to work. It likes to get stuck on the highs, but you know what, I'm just going to leave it right there. Once Bitfarms gapped up, I kind of waited for a pullback. My area was right around 515, and that's where I wanted to get into the trade. So, and I actually bought some call options. I bought some $5 call options at 16 cents a piece because today is Friday, and usually on Thursday and Friday, I like to take advantage of those options because if you are right, those things are going to pay off a heck of a lot better than buying the actual stock. But I bought Bitfarms, a $5 call at 16 cents, and it took, this is the 15-minute chart, so it took about an hour for it to get going. I think I might have been down just a tiny bit in these, but once it finally did explode into that 50-period simple moving average, I took my profits I think it was when it was right around $5.42 or so, and I sold them at 35 cents. So I got a little bit more than a double out of this one. I just didn't want to hang around too long in case it found some pretty stiff resistance and we had a big pullback from that 50-period simple moving average. Doesn't look like we're getting that right now. And in fact, it's actually looking like it's making a bullish triangle formation, maybe a bullish flag formation. So, and this is normally a continuation pattern, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Bit Farms continues to move higher the rest of the day and into next week. But let's get into that second trade. All right, so let's get into that second trade that I made today. But before I get into that, if you don't mind doing me a small favor and liking that smash button, it really helps out the channel with the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, because in most videos, I like to show trades that are setting up, not just reviewing trades that I made. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you subscribe. And also, I do have a Patreon. It is only $10 a month. So if you want to know what we are buying and selling in real time, that link is down there in the description. But getting into the second trade, I was sticking with the Bitcoin miners, and I was watching RIOT Blockchain. And RIOT Blockchain was actually one of the weaker ones, but it was pulling back into a pretty decent area. But as we can see with RIOT Blockchain, zooming in here, it looks like it's been trying to carve out a bottom for a couple of weeks now. So I was just kind of waiting for it to show some strength. And if we go to that 15-minute chart, let me show you what I was seeing. It was making this very nice rounded bottom formation on the 15-minute chart. And I was waiting for a break of this area right here, and it broke out with some strength today. So I was waiting for a pullback. Once this stock pulled back to that 8-period exponential moving average, I was going to buy some call options on this one as well. And I bought the $28 call at about 12 cents a piece, but as we can see, it kind of sliced right through that 8-period exponential moving average. So I was in a loss at this right from the word go. I was getting a little bit worried, but I was keeping an eye on HUT, and I was also keeping an eye on Mara, and they were continuing to show some strength, so I didn't want to get out of this trade just yet. And I actually put in an order to double down on this position, which I normally don't do if I'm buying an option on a Friday. Every once in a while I'll do it, but I put in an order to buy some more, double down on the position at 5 cents, and I was actually sitting on the bid, but it did not give me any more options, and the thing just took off. So I was really close to doubling down, getting an average cost of about 7 or 8 cents. And man, I wish I would have done that looking at this chart. I got out at, let me go to the 5-minute chart so we can see it just a little bit better. I actually got out on this tiny little candle right here just before this explosion up. I got out at 30 cents. So I bought in at 12 cents. I got out at 30 cents. It was almost a triple, but if I would have held just 5 more minutes, I think this thing was up in the mid-50s, maybe even the upper 50s. So I would have, more than 4 times my money. And if I would have been able to double down at 5 cents, I don't even know how much that would have ended up being, but it would have been a heck of a lot more than I made on it. But that's exactly what I was looking at. If you see strength in a sector, and there is one that's a little bit weaker, now chances are it's probably not going to bounce as high as some of the other ones once you do start to get a pullback. And if you look at some of those charts in HUT and Mara, their pullbacks weren't nearly as deep. They were a little bit shallower, and they were right off to a new high quicker. So I had a feeling that RIOT probably was not going to break to a new high, so I wanted to sell once it started to make it close to the old high. And I sold just a little bit early, but when you almost triple your money, I'm really not going to complain. But man, just some great trades today in the Bitcoin miners. All right, well, before I close out the video, I just actually want to show you a trade that is not working at the moment, just to show you what I am thinking when I would like to get out of a trade once it is going against me. And we actually took a trade in Skills a couple of days ago, and the market, I figured, was going to continue to rally, so I thought Skills had a pretty good chance of continuing upwards, but it is not happening as I planned. And let me zoom in a little bit. But we could see that Skills was having this nice little rounded bottom formation, had a nice little breakout, and was continuing to go sideways. So I figured since it was not pulling back at all, if we got a breakout to the upside in Skills, there was a good chance it was going to continue upwards. I figured this was probably a pretty decent profit target right around $10.25 or so. But let me go to the 15-minute chart and we could take a closer look at it. But this is what I was looking for pre-trade. So once we saw this rounded bottom formation and a solid move up, it started to move sideways. Let me actually back it up a little bit here. Zoom in a little closer so we can see it better. But this is what I was looking at. Nice little rounded bottom formation, a strong up move on good volume, and then it started to move sideways, so there was no pullback. That was telling me that chances are there aren't a lot of sellers hanging out in the short term. So I was waiting for a break of about $9.12 before I entered. I got stopped in at about $9.17, and this thing actually went my way a little bit, but then unfortunately broke down below that 8-period exponential moving average and rolled over. Now let me zoom to the current information, and as we can see, this thing is about ready to stop me out. I placed my stop loss below $8.84, and this thing could be stopping me out as I am making this video. But we can see that once it rolled over, it came down to this support level that I defined was probably going to be a pretty decent area of support. And if it doesn't hold that, that's where I don't want to be long the stock anymore. It came all the way down to 885 and then bounced, but unfortunately it looks like it is failing again, and it's probably going to be failing through that support level. And actually it looks like an inverted, rounded bottom, so a little bit of a rounded top formation. And if this thing is in a rounded top formation and breaking through the neckline, I do not want to be long that stock. Now, of course, the stock could break this neckline and then immediately turn back around and move up, but you need to determine areas on the chart where you don't want to be long or you don't want to be short. So if this thing is turning around like this, you by looking at this price formation, you don't want to be short here. And if it starts to roll over and make a rounded top formation and break that support level or that neckline and continue lower, you definitely don't want to be long there. So you just need to make these determinations on the chart where the strongest areas of support and resistance are. Get in on a breakout, or at least this is what I like to do. Get in on a breakout, and not every single breakout is going to work. In fact, a lot of them end up failing. But you want to get out quickly. If this thing stops me out at $8.84, that's less than a 4% loss. So it's not that big of a deal. And if this thing would have continued to run all the way up to about 10.25, if I'd have got in at $9.17, which I did, that would have been over a 10% gain. So you just want to make sure that your gains are bigger than your losses, and look for support and resistance levels. And if it breaks a certain support level, I mean, if you're looking at a chart and you're seeing clear support, and you're thinking, if this thing breaks that level, I do not want to be long. That's just the place where you want to put your stop loss at. But I just wanted to show you this trade in Skills, because not all of them work out. When they don't work out, I shouldn't say I don't care, because I do care. I don't want to lose money, but I want to know as quickly as possible when a trade is not working, because I want my losses to be as small as possible. But that's just it for this little trade on Skills that I'm probably about to lose money on any second here. That's it for this one. Hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.